The Trump family was brought in for completely bogus reasons, not for actual crimes. I mean, these are crimes that he's being investigated for. And look, it shouldn't take an act of Congress to raise attention to the Department of Justice and to the FBI about their need to actually follow the law and treat Hunter Biden the way that they do every other American citizen. He has his entire life had special treatment, but he's not going to get special treatment when it comes to the members of Congress. And so he is trying to defy that subpoena for a deposition hearing. He wants to ignore that and go straight to a public hearing. He knows the kind of circus that will create, and we're not going to let him have it. So when he had that press conference, he was right across the street. And my staff and I, we actually tried to run across the street to confront him and remind him that the Rayburn building is that way, Hunter. But his press conference was so quick, and he was on the Senate side of the building so that he could get into his vehicles and get out of there as fast as possible.
And why is he opting to testify publicly, to grandstand, versus doing it behind closed doors, where he would actually be, questioned more in depth? And it's sad because the media is not accurately portraying all of this. And in fact, I saw some media outlets saying, well, look, he did show up. He was out there on the steps of Capitol Hill. He did show up. Isn't that good enough for the Republicans?
Well, first of all, he's violating the norm. And the norm is that each individual who's going to a public hearing first goes through a deposition. And in that deposition hearing, you're not being questioned by politicians. You're being questioned by attorneys, by prosecuting attorneys, by investigative attorneys who actually understand what questions to ask. Then members of the committee, like myself, will be able to read the deposition and then be able to ask intelligent questions in the public hearing. But he wants to skip that part. And if I were in his shoes, I would too. I'd want to skip the part where you actually have to answer questions from prosecutors and investigative attorneys and go straight to the political theater. But that we're not going to let that happen. And now that we've passed the impeachment inquiry vote, it gives Congress a footing, and it gives Jamie Comer a footing to be able to require Hunter appear for a deposition.
And of course, Joe Biden, he continues to deny any involvement, and many Democrats are standing with him. You saw California Congressman Eric Swalwell right there behind Hunter. Take a listen to what he said.
It's just perverse to me that Republicans are weaponizing his addiction because they've never accepted his father, Joe Biden, as president. And he made it clear there's no dot to connect between his own personal issues with finances and then Vice President Joe Biden.
No dot to connect. Weaponization of his addiction. Once again, Hunter is the victim here. At the end of the day, this is obviously all about Joe Biden. So clearly, we're just trying to get to the bottom of why all of our foreign adversaries were paying Hunter Biden millions upon millions of dollars when he admits that the best thing he could do was smoke crack and hook up with hookers. I mean, it just really defies any kind of common sense that people can go out there and say that there's absolutely no link between Hunter and Joe.
Yeah, it just defies the facts. And the facts are that there has been a significant amount of money transferred from Jim Biden to his brother Joe Biden, hundreds of thousands of dollars. There has been on record at least $40,000 that originated with Hunter Biden that ended up being transferred to his father's bank accounts. This is a paper trail. These are facts. So for Swalwell to say that there is no connection is a complete farce. The Bidens have been grifting on their positions for decades, and they thought that they could get away with it by doing cute things. Like right now, they're trying to claim that, yes, they were grifting, they were selling the influence or their connection to Joe, but they weren't really good at their job because they didn't deliver on the actual promises. In other words, what they're saying is, in the quid pro quo, there was a quid, but there was no quo. They never actually achieved the quo. That's not going to hold up in any court of law whatsoever, because if you're selling these services, it doesn't matter how effective you are at your role in achieving it, you still are selling out to the American people.